Okay.
Fighting broke out. The culprit, and that's when the sword-based sneak attack.
That's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist.
So she grabbed the... But then the culprit...
And they killed her.
And that's exactly what happened. When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword. And that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
No, that's wrong. Actually, no. I don't think the fight started with the sword.
Why not?
Because the sword's sheath had been scratched. You see? There's a gash in it. Like someone cut into it with something sharp.
Something sharp? You mean like the kitchen knife?
Stop jumping ahead! Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch. If you were going to attack with the sword...
Okay, so how did the sheath get damaged?
If in that situation, there wouldn't be any time to actually unsheath the sword.
So you're saying the sword... Which means whoever had the kitchen knife...
I think I get it! So here's how it all played out. The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there, then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka before she knew what was happening! So she grabbed the sword to defend herself, but then the culprit took that from her too! Then, after they broke her wrist with the sword, they...
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka used the sword to defend herself.
What? How the...
Because she never held the sword at all. There's a certain part of her body that makes this...
You're talking about her palms, right? The palms of her hands were perfectly clean, so I don't think she ever picked up the sword.
How can you know that just by looking at her palms?
Like I said before, the gold coating on that sword comes right off. All you have to do is touch it. In fact, if you look, you'll notice that a lot of the gold has already come off the handle. It's safe to assume that's because whoever used the sword got some of it on their hands. There's really no way she could have picked it up.
Maybe she washed her hands after she escaped into the bathroom.
Sorry, but I don't think so.
Why do you say that? Is it because you think I'm ugly?
No, that's not it at all. According to the Monokuma file, Sayaka's time of death was around 1:30 a.m. In other words, at nighttime. And the water in the bathroom shuts off at nighttime, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I haven't taken a shower here yet.
Oh my.
You're no different! You smell like a big fat ugly donkey!
I'm not sure whether to take that as an insult or a compliment.
An insult, obviously.
Is the only one who used the sword. But hold on. If that's right, then the one who damaged the sheath with the kitchen knife was...
They're so confused. Hold on.
I got it! Sayaka? She had the kitchen knife?
But we already said that the attack started with...
The person with the knife attacked first, and the sword was used as an impromptu defense.
Then the one who attacked first was...
Sayaka?
Now do you understand? She wasn't a blameless victim in this.
No, far from it. It's almost as if she'd been planning to commit a murder of her own. She took the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to the room she was staying in. And if it's true that she had the kitchen knife...
Indeed.
Which brings up another point. Makoto, maybe the reason she wanted to switch rooms was so that she could pin the crime on you. That is a possibility, is it not?
Sayaka wanted to... on me?
That would also explain why she would switch the nameplates. She wanted to get whoever she had targeted to come to Makoto's room, where she was staying, and by committing the murder there, instead of her room, that would implicate Makoto. But for that to work, the target had to be lured out, while still keeping the room swap a secret if the target knew she had...
So...
But doesn't that plan seem a...
I don't know. I'm sure...
But in the end, her plan backfired. She launched her attack with the knife, then found herself under attack in turn.
The tables were suddenly turned on her.
Just because you...
If we can't uncover who murdered Sayaka, it's over for all of us.
No, that's wrong! There still might be one clue.
Dining.
The 11037. Written in her own blood. There must be a clue about the killer hidden in there.
Well, before we get too far into that, I need to ask, can we really be sure that Sayaka is the one who wrote it?
Her, left index.
I got it! Her left index finger had blood on it. That could only be because she used that finger to write the message.
I see. She broke her right wrist during the fight, so she'd have to use her left hand to write.
Sure. I think we can all agree Sayaka wrote it. But still, what the heck do those numbers mean? 11037?
Hey, Chihiro. You're a computer nerd or whatever, right? You should know all about numbers and shit.
No, that's not... Yes, I'm a programmer, but I don't see any kind of meaning in these numbers.
Of course. It's because they're not numbers.
Oh, yeah, it looks like...
Huh? What?
Look at the numbers, assuming they're not numbers. Don't these first two, 1, 1, look less like two numbers and more like one letter?
Ah, you're right. The connecting line is barely there, so I assumed it was 1, 1, but looking at it now, you could also read it as an N.
Whoa, you might have finally just said something worth a shit.
Our little gray cells are really getting excited now.
But even if that really is an N037, doesn't make any more sense than before.
Rotate the image 180 degrees.
Oh my god. Now I...
Huh? So, who...
Here's my answer. The key to solving this mystery was simply to rotate the writing 180 degrees. If you turn the message around, it becomes the letters L-E-O-N. L-E-O-N. Or more accurately, Leon.
What the hell are you talking about? It's just a coincidence. It's just a bunch of random squiggles that happen to look like my name.
No, it's not random at all. She wrote that message on the wall behind her as she was leaning up against it. In that position, she couldn't move to write normally, and had to write upside down, as it were. And as a result, when you look at it standing and try it for yourself if you want. Write something sitting like her, and the letters will be inverted.
That sounds like one hell of a stretch to me. I'm the killer? You can't just go and say shit like that.
If you're not the killer, then why did you try to destroy the evidence?
Huh?
You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The evidence Leon tried to get rid of?
I got it! You mean the burnt shirt piece I found laying on the ground by the incinerator, right?
As the killer stabbed Sayaka, they must have gotten some of her blood on them. And to dispose of the shirt covered in the victim's blood, they threw it into the incinerator.
But one piece burned off and got left behind.
And the killer didn't notice. If they had, they most certainly would have. Isn't that right, Leon?
But is one scrap of fabric enough to conclude that Leon is guilty?
Yeah, I mean, Leon's not the only one wearing a white button-up.
That's right. There are plenty of other people here with shirts like mine. With just that one little charred piece, there's no way you can say for sure who it belongs to.
You're right. That alone isn't enough. But there are some other points.
Are you finally starting to understand?
Yeah. I got it! If we look closely at how the shirt was disposed of, we should be able to figure out who the killer is.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I think I know what you're gonna say. You can't reach the incinerator without opening the gate in front of the trash room, right? And obviously, you wouldn't be able to hit the switch to turn it on either. You need the key to get in, and the one with the key was the person on cleaning duty. So the killer had to be whoever was in charge of taking care of the trash, right?
Interesting.
Make your arguments. Shattered crystal ball.
The key to the trash room. Whoever was on cleaning duty, possible suspect is...
Okay, so
The key to the whoever was on cleaning duty must have had it, right?
So the only one
And you'd have to get close to the incinerator. No, that's wrong. Hold on. I think I know how someone could dispose of the evidence without using the trash room key.
But if you can't get past the gate, you couldn't possibly turn on the incinerator, could you?
Yes, you could. If you used this.
What is it, some kind of glass ball? It's busted to hell.
Actually, it was supposed to be a crystal ball, but,
But how would you use it?
Shoot! I got it! The killer simply took all they had done, remember?
Oh my gosh, that was so long.
Fumi had the key, so could have been turned on without his knowledge. Was because the killer was able to, once they got the incinerator going, all they had to do was ball up the shirt.
Hey, come on! What the hell is this?
All you have to do is look at the scene, the shards of broken glass, the incident. If the killer had been on cleaning...
Wait, no, just hold on.
But the distance from the gate to the incinerator has to be at least 30 feet, right? The pinpoint accuracy you'd need to throw a glass ball that far and hit something that small. Could someone really do that?
That's right! They're difficult, absolutely. I got it! Because the killer is the ultimate baseball star. Isn't that right, Leon? Do you have any idea how stupid you...
a target 30 feet away would surely be little challenge for the ultimate baseball star.
I'm not the killer!
You still won't admit it? Okay then, Makoto. Go ahead and review the incident one more time to make his crime perfectly clear. And
Listen to me!
Say what you want, Leon. But now here's what happened.
Absolutely. Every time case has a last element to bring the class trial to an end. In this phase, you'll give a complete summary of the case. Have to reproduce the flow of events for the case in the form of a comic book. However, you'll notice that in the comic there are a number of pieces missing. It's up to you to complete that comic using the trick. Take aim at the missing actions, press the X button. Holy cow, you'll get a hint. Might lead to the well then, good luck. Close. So, okay.
exactly what happened. I think I'd better take one more look back at the... Last night, the killer went to the room Sayaka was in. In other words, my room. From what we can tell, Sayaka invited that person there intending to kill them. She attacked them with the knife she'd taken from the kitchen earlier. But then something happened that she wasn't prepared for. They grabbed the fake sword I put in my room and fought back. During the struggle, a strike from the sword broke... And that's when she lost her grip on the kitchen knife. Finding herself cornered, Sayaka panicked and ran into the bathroom. The killer went after her, but couldn't get the bath. What they didn't know was that my bathroom door got stuck easily, and there was a trick to opening it. Sayaka knew about that because I told her, but of course the killer had no way of knowing. So instead, and stabs. But with what strength she had remaining, Sayaka left it to keep the killer from noticing. She wrote it on the wall behind her. And with that, all her strength was gone. With Sayaka... First they wanted to make sure... Afterwards, they put the... So... for any... And that's the crystal, which then quick... Having destroyed the... But there was one... Part of the shirt they'd thrown into the fire. The killer didn't notice this, and so left behind a piece of indisputable... Isn't that right, Leon? It would appear that Hiro simply forgot his crystal ball in the laundry room. You went there to try and wash the blood out of your shirt, and that's where you saw it, right? Seeing the ball, you thought of a way to take care of everything.
So, Leon, do you object to anything that's been said?
Do I object? Hell yes, I object! Of course I do! I object! I object! I object! I mean, all of this is just a bunch of stupid theories! You need evidence! Where's the evidence? Without evidence, it's all bullshit! It's bullshit and I refuse to acknowledge it!
Well then, I guess this is as good a time as any to present the evidence that proves you did it. Makoto, I believe you're in possession of that evidence.
Where's your proof? You kidding me? Not a chance. It wasn't me! Stupid! You lied! Stop talking! Shut up! Here's your proof! You kidding me? Not a chance! Stupid! You lied! Shut up! Here's your proof! You kidding me? Not a chance! It wasn't me! Stupid! You lied! Stop talking!
Is this... I refuse to give up yet!
When the killer removed the screws instead, they must have used something.
Where's your proof? You kidding me? Not a chance! It wasn't me! Stupid! You lied! Stop talking! Shut up! Here's your proof! You kidding me? Not a chance! Stupid! You lied! Shut up! Here's your proof! You kidding me? Not a chance! It wasn't me! Stupid! You lied! Stop talking! Shut up! Here's your proof!
I refuse to give up yet!
When the killer removed...
Where's your proof? You kidding me? Not a chance! It wasn't me! Stupid! You lied! Stop talking! Shut up! Here's your proof! You kidding me? Not a chance! It wasn't me! Stupid! You lied! Stop talking! Shut up! Here's your proof!
Danganronpa.